All right, lady. Tell me, give us, if you would, like your title and a little bit about what you do to set the foundation here.
Sure. I am a marketing strategist. It's so crazy because for years, I've adjusted my title so many thousands of times. And this is the one that I've kind of stuck to for the longest time because I used to say like digital strategist or something like that. Yeah, I've been doing this for about 10 years and I'm a mom of a lot of teenagers and I live in Ohio.
It is a lot of teenagers for us, a lot of teenagers.
lot of There's a lot of the kids.
It is. Okay. All right. So we said that we were going to talk about local SEO. And of course, the importance here is because for military spouses, especially those like we know at this point, my husband's retired. So we're done with our moves until kids, go off to college and we settle in our final destination. Um,
Mhm.
but that's neither here nor there. A lot of military spouses, they've still got all these moves ahead of them. And so every single time there's a move, they need to reestablish themselves locally. So of course, we do a lot of what we do online, and that's kind of the allure of being online is as a military spouse or anybody who moves frequently, like we can bring it with us. And it makes it easy when we do all these things online. And if we're service oriented, or even if we're, product oriented, we can do all of the things, most of the things that we need to do
Mhm.
online. But there's still a whole entire category of people who can't, right? Um, like realtors, for example, is a huge one, but there are a number of other examples. So that said, what what is the basic thing that we need to know about when we're setting up locally, getting established, and we want people to be able to find us?
So it really depends on what you're doing, right? So are you using the Google Business Profile?
Mhm.
I keep saying Google My Business, but they've changed it now to Google Business Profile. So I keep trying to adjust that.
Mhm.
So if you have that, then that's different than, let's say that you have a website and you have a lot of location based things on your website. In that
Okay.
case, you would need
Talk
to
to me like I'm
change.
in third grade. Because we
I
may,
am.
like, my audience may know what some of this stuff is, but most of us don't do these. So, like, just talk to me like I'm in third grade.
Well, which thing? Like Google Business Profile?
Yeah,
Like,
let's
is
talk about that first.
Okay. So, Google Business Profile is like when you get on Maps and someone is looking for an esthetician or something, your name is or your business would come up in the results, hopefully,
Mhm.
if you have optimized your profile. And that's what a lot of people don't necessarily do because there's so many things that you can do to optimize your profile. They think if they just list their business on there that they're going to appear in the top rankings, but that's not true. It's not gonna help you. You need to have a really great optimized description with any of the keywords that you want to be found in there. You need to list all of your services or products on there. Also, adding descriptions, making sure that they're optimized, but with your keywords and things that you have to think when you're doing these type of things. What are people searching for, right? What are the things that people are putting in there? Maybe they're putting something specific like they want a specific service, right? Like Botox or something like that. So then, in that's the case, you would list that as one of your offers and make sure a description is contained some keywords or long tail keywords, which is a phrase. A long tail is like a phrase. So you want to make sure that you have some of that stuff in there so that it would help you come up higher. But the best thing to really help you is by getting reviews on your profile.
Mhm.
And that is often hard, especially for people who have online based businesses because they're usually working with people for longer periods of time. And, it's like not top of mind for them to give reviews for online businesses.
Mm.
So that's a problem that I see often is that they're not able to get enough reviews on there. So I would just say continue to be of service and ask for reviews, ask for reviews, ask for reviews. And then once somebody gives you a review, then you reply to the review. And one thing that I've added is when you're asking somebody to give you a review, try to ask them to add some of your keywords in there. Like use, you know, for medical, it's kind of tricky, right? Because you don't necessarily want them to violate like HIPAA and stuff like that. But ask them to use maybe something that would be um, keyword specific without kind of giving away what they had done in the sense of medical stuff. But we're not really necessarily talking about that. I just want to make sure that nobody gets confused and is like, yes, today I had my thyroid examined and XYZ, and the doctor prescribed this. No, like, please don't do that. But and then just remember that this stuff takes time, right? So no matter what, it's going to take time for you to come up in the rankings. And one thing that you can do is for your business profile, your Google business profile, you can actually link that from your website, right? In order to give it just a little bit more juice and authority. So that's another thing that you could do. Adding the map to your website, if you have a physical location, is a good idea, embedding it, because then it tells Google that you're actually legitimate. And another thing that people don't do on their Google business profile is actually posting updates about once a week and kind of adding pictures. If you have a physical location, you would add pictures of your location. Or if you have an online business, maybe you're adding pictures of like some of your work. And let's say that you got a testimonial, but it wasn't on Google.
Mhm.
What you could do is create an image and then add that image to your profile to kind of showcase, look, I have other testimonials on
That's
here.
smart. I had not
Yeah,
thought of that last piece. I'm gonna use that because I have a whole bunch of testimonials that I've been able to collect over the years for my website and other, social media and whatnot. But if they weren't put on Google, I figured, oh, well, that was just a loss on that part because early on I hadn't thought to ask for reviews on Google. So that's brilliant. I'm gonna do that. I do have a
yeah,
question
just
though.
and then schedule them out though. That's something that you could do. You don't necessarily, that way you know that you have content like dripping continuously. You don't have to worry about what do I need to post on Google.
Okay, so if we're posting other than the reviews, what are some of the other types of things that you would post on your Google profile?
So they have like an offers section. So let's say that you're running a special deal or something like that. You could add that on there. You can also just like post other, like again, your work. You could show like some of your work. You could post pictures of, um, usually it's like interacting. Like this would
Yeah.
be things that more applicable since my target is like local businesses. It's
Mhm.
easier for me to like come up with, hey, take a picture of the inside of your
Yeah.
office or something like that. But me personally, I like to post the testimonials for one. I love posting like the offers because then it goes out to them and people are more likely to see it.
Mhm.
Um, but I also like to cross post, right? Like have that go to also to Facebook to kind of show that it's going in other places. You could do like inspirational quotes. It really just depends on your business. Like whatever you would post on your other social media, you can add it onto Google, except just know that like you're not going to get engagement on it because there's no necessarily no feed,
Yeah.
right? It's just kind of like informational. It's not necessarily something that you're going to get engagement on.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a graphic though. Like if it's just information, just like if let's use your informational or inspirational quote example. If I just posted the quote as text, can I do that
Mhm.
or do I need to put it like in a graphic format?
You can do that. Like if you're using a scheduler specifically, that would be where I would do that. On the Google Business Profile, there's not necessarily a place for that, but that's where I would schedule it out using a scheduler. My favorite is Social Bee, but you can use whatever you like, right?
Yeah.
So, but also, like, if you just wanted to write text in there, you could do, like I said, the offer, which is like a discount or something that you're offering, and then you can add an image to it, but you don't have to add an image to it, and it has a deadline, so they can see, like, this special offer is only available to this time. So
Okay.
I love the deals, and that helps them. I don't know. I feel like, it's if you're using any platform, right? Try to do everything that they offer to you. If they
Yeah.
say, "Hey, list your products on here," list your products. That means your free products too, because you can add any of your freebies onto your Google Business Profile as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like paid things. You can add your, like, let's say you have a free consult or something like that. Add that in your products
How often should you be doing like an updated post?
about once a week.
Okay. Okay. That's
So
easy.
it's Yeah, you don't have to do it daily. That's why I said if you got testimonials, go to Canva, make some quote images and schedule them out. And I always write when I do the quote images, I always write some text in there too, just so that Google has something to read.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that's your Google profile. You started to talk about something else and I rewound you because I'm like, wait a minute, come back. Talk to me like I'm in third grade. I don't understand all of this necessarily. Okay, so what was the next thing you were going to talk about?
So I already mentioned embedding the map or whatever on your website. And remember, even if you only work at home, you can still have a Google business profile. You would just have to have an actual physical address, and then you would be able to embed that map into.
When you
So
say
for
embed
me,
the map, you're just talking about like giving Google a location that your business exists in, right?
so
Is that
there,
what you
in your Google business profile, it will generate a code, right? And then it'll actually show the physical map in on your website. Um, if that makes sense. And so I will say, like, you can embed it in there. They could get directions from there, but also, like, I have it on my website, but it's kind of hidden, right? Like, I hid mine, even though, like, nobody can see it, but it's there.
Mhm.
It's obviously like an advanced strategy. But if let's say you have a location specific, locate, or, a city location. I don't know what I'm trying to say,
You have
but
a brick and mortars, an actual
yeah,
physical location that
you
you show.
have a physical location, and you can create pages on your website that are called silo pages. And essentially, what it is like, silo, it's feeding down into the main page. And so, what those pages do are their location and service specific pages. And I don't know if you've ever seen, like, somebody maybe has a roofing company or something like that, and they have like serving, and then they have 15 different areas for the
Mhm.
same service, but
Mhm.
they have all of them in different areas. Those are more silo pages because they're saying to Google, look, we not only serve Los Angeles, but we serve, the
Surrounding
other cities.
communities and yeah.
Yes. And so
Okay.
it helps you to kind of expand your reach by doing something like that. And you could do the same thing with your offers, right? So there are some strategies that you can use in order to figure out, like, how to get more traffic to your actual website when you have a physical location. For online businesses, I would say this would be more applicable to focus on subject matter, right? Like,
Mm.
let's say that you are specializing in mental health or something like that. Then, in that case, you would focus on what are the things that people want to know about mental health. So, and then you would answer those questions. And another little tidbit is you can always add any FAQs onto your website, and that's going to help you as well because Google likes to help you answer the questions of your target audience.
Awesome. Okay, so outside of Google, are there any things that we need to know about being found locally?
Also, I would definitely recommend getting registered for Bing, verifying your business on Bing as well. As some people may know, ChatGTP, the search engine that they're using is Bing. And so oftentimes people will focus so heavily on Google because Google is like the number one search engine, like 62% of people or whatever the percentage are using Google as their search engine. However, Bing is still like number two. And I always have my clients register for both. And so verify your business on Bing as well. And then obviously continue to put out as much content as you can in order to reach your new target.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've got Google, we've got
Yes.
Bing.
Yes.
Do we have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, obviously my number one thing is always like email, building your email list
Mm,
and, things of that nature. So that way, no matter where you move, you always have that list in
yeah,
order to re-engage any of your clients that may not be local, but you could still, you know, help them out.
that's so good. So good. I know people have a love-hate. Some people love it. Some people definitely have a love-hate relationship with the email list. I used to have a love-hate relationship with building an email list. But I was scared enough by the horror stories I heard about people losing their entire social media profiles, just getting booted or hacked or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and work on this email list. So I think that even though it's not specifically a local tip, it's important to have that because it will serve you locally as well as, outside of your local area.
And you can always like create autoresponders. One thing that I like to do is like obviously create the welcome, the nurture responders, and all that stuff. But let's say you do not like to engage with people regularly, you're too busy. Let's say you create 12 to 15 different email pieces that are educational about your business and you auto respond those to go out. That's, what one, let's say you create 16. You have now created 3 months worth of content that is educational, is going to help your audience. What if you put that into an autoresponder and then repeat that every 3 months?
Yeah.
What about doing that? You're still educating them. And then plus when you have a chance, you can add more content to it. But that means that they never go without getting some piece of educational information from you. Because let's face it, we open emails and we don't always do we don't always follow through. And they're not going to remember, oh shit, I think I saw this 3 months ago. No.
Yeah. I've gotten in the habit, so I want to share this because I think it's such a cool feature that at least for Google, those of us who have like a Gmail, I can't speak to other email platforms, but for Google, you can snooze it. So if I know there's something that I've opened because I really do want to take action on it, and I'm like, you know what, I don't have the time that I thought I was going to have to do it now, and I'm weird. It's a Heather idiosyncrasy. I do not like unread things, notifications, email messages, anything. It drives me nuts. I digress. So what I'll do is I'll snooze it. So you can snooze an email that you want to come back to. And, so if I know like Friday, my calendar's kind of slow, I'll snooze it to come back to me on Friday. And that way I can dive into it a little more deeply. So just on that note, it's a little bit off topic, but I thought it was important. It was kind of a little cool tidbit that's, available to
That's a great
us. So.
That's a great tip. Mine does follow-ups for me. If I send emails, it'll follow up and say, like, "You haven't heard back from this person. Do you wanna follow up?"
Oh yeah,
I
mine
love
does that too. Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of cool features with even, the free email, which as a business owner, of course, blah blah blah. There's a whole thing here where I'm not saying go get a free email, but you understand the point.
Yeah,
There's so many features that are available for us to check back in with our emails and anyway. Okay, that's all I'll say about that. Alrighty, so we've just got a second here, a minute or two to finish wrapping up. Is there anything else that we absolutely need to know before we go?
Um, I can't necessarily think of any tips specifically, but I think that those are really like solid tips.
Yeah.
Know your target audience, and then everything that you create should be for them. And try to, stay focused and not get deterred by the shiny objects.
Yes, brilliant advice. I know you and I have both done that a number of times. So easier said than done, but definitely worth following. All right, lady, I
Definitely.
appreciate you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and your time.
Thank you.
Bye.